What's up, guys? I hate that I have to make this video. I really do, because the subject matter should not be a subject matter we're still trying to resolve in 2020. This year's already been hard enough as it is. Do we really need more? But there is a link down below. I'm going to be going through that and yeah, hopefully can use the privilege that I was born into based on pigmentation of my skin to help cut this idiocy out. So let's get into it. Alright, like I said, there's a link down below, you can check it out. I'm also going to try and link some, I think there's some charities and stuff at the moment working on this same issue, and I'll link them down below. Thumbnail was deliberately just a black background. Obviously I would normally have some sort of an image, but I really wanted my thumbnail to sort of look like a protest sign at the same time, and the black, the image of just black has been a social media thing of standing with the Black Lives Matter movement. So let's get into it. Alright, so in the link below there are 33 images, each of which has a little bit to go along with it. Now I'm not sure if that's 33 individuals or not. I don't think it is. I think in a quick flick through before, I saw a couple of them had two slides to them. But let's get into it. Alright, so Tamir Rice, born 2002, died 2014, was a 12-year-old boy at the time and was shot dead by Cleveland police officer Timothy Loehmann. The Associated Press reported that Loehmann was cleared of criminal wrongdoing in November of that year, which must have meant within a week, because it's November 23rd, 2014, that Rice was shot and killed. And he was cleared of his wrongdoing before it was even December. The preteen was killed as he played with a pellet gun outside a Cleveland Recreation Center. Loehmann was later fired from the force for omitting materials on his job application. So he wasn't even fired for killing this kid who was playing with a toy gun. Now I do apologize if I mispronounce some of these names as well. I'm trying my best to be as sensitive as possible. But I believe Tatiana Jefferson, I believe that's how you pronounce her name. Again, I apologize if I got that wrong. Born November 28, 1990, meaning that she would be 4 years older than me, but she was shot and killed in October of last year by Fort Worth police officer Aaron Dean like I said, on October 12th, 2019. She was home with her 8-year-old nephew when Dean, responding to a non-emergency call, fired one shot through a window and killed her. He resigned from the department shortly after and was charged with murder. Dallas News reported that Dean was indicted in December on the murder charge. I'm pretty sure, if I did try to find, I shared something similar to this on Facebook a couple of days ago, and for the life of me cannot find it now. But I'm pretty sure she was playing video games with her nephew at the time. And considering that she would only be about 4 years older than me, which is only about 2 years older than my brother, and her nephew's the same age as my nephew, that's fucking scary. Number 3, I'm pretty sure, is George Floyd, which is kind of the only one the media is really focusing on. So we're gonna... No. Whatever reason doesn't want to show us. Okay. Mike Brown, born May 20th of 96, killed August 9th, 2014. It's a case of he said. CNN reported on the death of... I don't understand this first sentence. Anyway, witnesses say Brown was surrendering with his hands in the air when he was shot to death by police in Ferguson, Missouri. Authorities said Brown attacked the officer in his car and tried to take his gun. His death is one that many people say shook Ferguson. Darren Wilson, the officer who killed Brown, was exonerated twice of criminal wrongdoing in the case. Okay, cool. KSDK News reported that Brown's father, Michael Brown Sr., and his brother were planning to travel to Minneapolis for several days to show their support to attend rallies in honor of George Floyd. In the photo that's accompanying this, civil rights leader Reverend Al Sharpton stands with Michael Brown's parents during a news conference outside the old courthouse in St. Louis. Danny Ray Thomas, born April 3rd, 1982, killed March 22nd, 2018, was Sir Thomas, an unarmed black man whose case garnered national attention from video that showed him wandering the street with his pants around his ankles seconds before being killed, was shot and killed by former Harris County Deputy Cameron Brewer. In August 2019, Brewer was found not guilty of murder in the case. Brewer's defense attorney at the time said his client suspected Thomas was high on PCP and feared for his life based on another encounter with a suspect who didn't respond to the less lethal taser. In this photo from 2018, families and friends of Thomas stand alongside attorney Benjamin Crump during a press conference announcing the federal civil rights lawsuit on the steps of the Harris County Civil Courthouse in downtown Houston, Texas. Cameron Brewer, the officer who killed Thomas, was found not guilty in civil court. I was robbed, my nieces and nephews were robbed, he meant everything to me, Thomas's sister Keita said at the time. I just hope that my brother's life is justified and not swept under the rug. She appealed to District Attorney Kim Ogg to give my brother justice. Sandra Bland, born Feb 7 of 87, died July 13 of 2015. 28-year-old Chicago area woman was found hanging in her Waller County jail cell 3 days after she was arrested following a confrontational traffic stop. Her own dash cam video of the incident surfaced in 2019, showing from her perspective Trooper Brian Encenia trying to pull her out of her vehicle while aiming his stun gun at her. Many people allege that Bland was murdered and was already dead when she took her mugshot photo. At the time, USA Today had forensic pathologist Michael Baden examine the photo. He said he saw no evidence that would indicate Bland is not alive in the mugshot. Trayvon Martin, born, God, this is even scarier, Feb 5, 1995, which is, let's see, November, December, October, November, about 5 months after I was born. So he would be the same age as me. Killed Feb 26, 2012. 2012 was the year I graduated high school. An unarmed 17-year-old the unarmed 17-year-old was killed in a 2012 shooting in Sanford, Florida, I think that's supposed to be, by neighborhood crime watch captain George Zimmerman. Zimmerman, claiming he shot the teen in self-defense, could have been convicted of second-degree murder or manslaughter, but was tried and cleared of all charges in 2013. Yeah. And I think, like I said before, I had shared something, and I think in his particular story, the neighborhood crime watch guy, Zimmerman, had called police, and they told him that there was no evidence to suggest that, you know, that Trayvon was posing any danger to the public. And I really think that on this particular one, at the very least, isn't there some sort of charge for vigilante justice in America? Taking the law into your own hands is like not allowed or something. Anyway, Ahmaud Arbery, I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly, born May 8th, 1994, killed earlier this year, Feb 23. Autopsy report revealed that Arbery was killed by three shotgun blasts. Gregory McMichael, 64, and his son, 34-year-old Travis McMichael, told police they pursued Arbery in their truck because they suspected him of being a burglar. The suspects involved were arrested 2 months after his death following the release of cell phone video of the incident. We've got Oscar Grant, Feb 27th of 86, killed New Year's Day 2009. Wow, what a way to start your year. Grant, 22 and unarmed at the time, was shot to death by BART police officer. I'm assuming BART's like some specific branch of the justice system over there in America. But the police officer Johannes Basel in the early morning hours of New Year's Day 2009. So it wasn't even like middle of the day. It was like early morning hours. So he was probably coming home from a New Year's party. That's a judge saying he believes the former officer's testimony that he had confused his pistol for a taser. How do you confuse the two? I'm pretty sure one's deliberately designed to be like bulky, that one being the taser, so I don't know how you confuse the two. Then again, I'm not exactly, I've not exactly fired any gun of any kind before, so I could be wrong. But the judge sentenced the officer to the minimum term of 2 years in prison for involuntary manslaughter in 2011. He was released after serving 11 months. So he hadn't even done 1 year. The officer then told jury in 2014 that he couldn't remember all of the events that happened prior to and following the shooting, but he believed Rance was making a digging motion in his front pocket for a gun. If this is also one, if I'm remembering this one correctly as well, he got pulled over while he was driving, I think. Mentioned to the officer that he had a gun and was reaching for his license in his front pocket, if I'm remembering correctly. Alright, we're about halfway through these, and I do want to talk about, there's something else I want to talk about. So this is going to be the last one for this, but the link is there. You can go, you can read up on this yourself. unnecessary that these articles are being written. These people shouldn't be being killed. But hey, it is. That's what all the protests and whatnot are about. Alright, so this last one that I'm going to talk about is Eric Garner, born 15th of September of 1970, killed July 17th, 2014. Garner allegedly became irate after being confronted by police trying to arrest him on suspicion of selling untaxed loose cigarettes on a Staten Island sidewalk. The Associated Press reported that he denied the charges and, according to Police Commissioner William Bratton, was placed in what appeared to be a chokehold after refusing to be handcuffed. In July of 2019, a day before the 5-year anniversary of his death, federal prosecutors announced that no criminal charges would be brought against Officer Daniel Pantaleo. Shortly after, an administrative judge recommended the officer be fired, which he was, but he filed a lawsuit in October to get his job back. At this time, he remains off the force. And in the photo connected to a bit of text, Garner poses with his children during a family outing. Alright, that article is in the link below. We're gonna go over here, and content creator that I like, Maud Garrett, a lovely Australian woman working with some lovely Americans on various YouTube channels to do with nerd culture, has shared a how to respond to common racist statements by at Waste Free Marie. And there's the one. No. Maybe it was that first one. Just trying to find the one that I was referring to at the beginning. No. We'll read them all, and I'm sure I'll be reminded at some point what ones. Alright, so the first statement: I don't see colour, we are all one human race. How is that racist? Well, while we are all human and biologically the same, the systemic oppression of black people makes their experiences vastly different from others. We're going to assume that I'm saying this bit at the top, and so because it uses the first person, it has my and yours. So the my is the black people. So makes my experiences vastly different from yours. To say that you don't see race means that you don't see my oppression, my marginalization, or the discrimination I'm facing daily. This diminishes my suffering and excuses you from your responsibility to be anti-racist. You must see race to combat racism, which goes without saying. I think that was the one. I used to say that we are all just the human race, but we now know why I'm not saying that anymore. It's all about just being educated enough to make informed decisions about what's morally right. We'll go through 2 or 3 of these. We got another one here. Actually, there is one. Okay. I'm not responsible for what my ancestors did. Am I supposed to feel bad about that? So we are living in a society that was built on the backs of black people for the benefit of white people. Generational wealth, prosperity, and opportunity benefit white people. That is just the definition of white privilege. Recognizing that injustice doesn't stop with your ancestors. White people are presently benefiting from the very systems that marginalize black people. Feel convicted to reconcile today's injustices. and that's especially in Australia, that's a big one. And this one, the one that has the internet going nuts at the moment. All lives matter. All lives can't matter until Black Lives Matter. I mean, the rest of that paragraph need not be said. All lives matter until Black Lives Matter. That it's impossible for every life to matter if some of them don't. The phrase, all lives matter, overlooks systemic injustice plaguing the Black community. It has been weaponized to silence the cries of the unheard. It promptly ends progress before it starts. And in order to work towards equity for all people, we must start with advocacy for the most marginalized. And that is why saying that is racist. And there are a couple here. Like there's obviously more there that you can look at. I will try to link this particular post. I'll try to find the original post actually, and I'll link it below as well, so you can have a little flick through yourself and see what the other ones were. See if you've been inadvertently saying subconsciously racist things, because I feel like if you're watching my videos, you've obviously got an open enough mind to be dealing with me, and to be agreeing at least on some level with some of the things that I say. So yeah, but that's it for this video. Until next time, guys, keep it screwed on.